Ah. How you doing? I just have a quick question for you. How do you feel about Sniper One and them not releasing the name of? You haven't heard about it? So Joplin Police Department was called to Baxter Springs in March of 2022 for a standoff with Eli Crawford. The Joplin police officer, identified only as Sniper One, because he turned around and sued the city to retract his name from it because it put him in danger, is what he says. But he shot the 2-year-old little girl instead of shooting the suspect. Now, the rules for a sniper is you have to see clearly what you're shooting. I mean, it's clearly stated, even in Joplin's policy, it's clearly stated. But so he unalived a 2-year-old little girl, shot her right in the head, and now they aren't releasing his name because he's worried. And in a statement to the KBI, when they told him what he had done, he said, "I'm screwed."
Really?
Didn't say, yep, that was his statement. I'm screwed.
Oh, wow.
Completely self-indulgent.
Never heard about any of that.
Really?
Yeah.
KCUR. You can go to KCUR. It was 89.3. They did a pretty good
How long ago was that?
release on that. They released that.
Yeah.
The 25th they released some of this month, and then the 26th they released more to state what was going on. What do you think of that? Should they release his name? Should it? I mean, that should be public information, shouldn't it? It's public servant here.
Personal feeling, I think so. But I really don't know what they do with their investigation and their policies with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're dealing with multiple agencies investigating something, and everybody has their own policies and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I think as long as they're within their policy, yeah,
So what he used was the Missouri Sunshine Law. So within the Missouri Sunshine Law, it says if it'll put somebody at risk or whatever. So then he said that he was at risk because there was a page that started up, Blue Lives something, and they gave $1,000 to whoever would identify Sniper One. And so he said that was a threat on him. But it's kind of interesting what Joplin will call a threat.
Yeah, I mean...
If I told you today is the day, do you feel threatened by that?
No.
Okay, good. Joplin does.
I've been doing this a long time. And I'll be honest with you, I teach stuff for our department, and I do interviews with the news media, like I teach active shooter and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've had them interview me for classes, and to me, the stuff that happens everywhere else doesn't happen here. Jasper County is to me pretty safe.
I agree.
I've done this June will be my 29th year at this agency, and I have no problem. I've dealt with some of the most hardcore criminals in my career that Jasper County has.
Yeah.
And I started off in the jail, and we have mutual respect, and they know, hey, they treat you fair if they treat me fair, and that's the way I've always done my work.
Awesome.
I'm not out to, I'm not out to.
Yeah.
Kind of say, but I also feel that if you've done something wrong that violates the law, you should stand up for it and say, yes, I did it, I'm sorry, and I'll take my punishment.
I agree with that as
I
well.
only have problems with people that don't do that. They blame me for if I caught somebody speeding, and then they yell at me and say, well, it's my fault. How's it my fault you were speeding? You made that choice, I didn't. And do I write a lot of tickets for that? Not always.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I feel, because I've worked for 3 different sheriffs, so I've had 3 different views on how things should be done, explained to me, and I pick and choose what.
I'm gonna come a little closer. I'm barely
I
hearing
pick and choose what and sometimes to sit here and talk to you gets more across than me sending you to court for a fine.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times people will tell me, I get the excuse all the time. I'm waiting for my tax money. Well, we're now in You know, it could be August. You got your tax money in April.
Yeah.
How hard is it to pay $70? You know?
One thing with, so the court system is kind of set up completely backwards, because if you go in and you say, yes, I did that, I'm remorseful, I want to admit that I was wrong, they'll punish you more than if you lawyer up and you let a lawyer fight for you. So if you go pay money to a lawyer, they'll give you minimal time. But if you go in and admit it and say, I'm sorry, I'm remorseful, I did this, then they're going to punish you worse.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen it every time. It's every single time. If you go pay for a lawyer, they'll basically drop it to nothing. But if you come in and you say, I did that, like you want them to, then the system basically screws them. And I mean, you know what I mean? It's a perpetuation of ignorance. If you want people to be accountable and upfront and do those things, then reward them for it. When they stand up and say, I did that, then reward them.
I think it goes with everybody. I think it goes with not just the public, but it goes with us as well.
Yes.
You know, we got to stand up and say what we did right or wrong.
Yes. And hold your brothers accountable.
Yeah.
That thin blue line has built a code inside people's head where they don't turn their brothers in because they.
I saw a what are they called? TED Talks.
Yeah.
One time of a chief that was talking about the thin blue line thing, and he basically explained it as he doesn't view it as a line that should separate us, but it's a line that should interweave through us, through everybody, because we should be able to adapt. Work with whoever we work with,
yeah,
or work for.
See, and I believe I shouldn't see you any different than I see anybody else, and you shouldn't see me any different than you'd see your thin blue line brothers. Because once we put something like that in between us, and we say I'm different because of this, and I'm different because of this, well, now we aren't the same, and we don't view people the same.
Well,
we need to view humans as humans and try to help us all.
We have the same clientele repeatedly.
Yep.
And to me, I deal with you the same way I deal with you every time. I don't care, maybe I've arrested you 15 times. You know, now here the 16th time. You get the same respect from me that you got day one. Unless you give me a reason not to.
Yeah.
And if you start yelling at me, then then I'm gonna do what I gotta do. But I'm not gonna stand there and berate you the whole time I'm there. It's like, hey, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to business. Why am I here?
Yeah.
And that's
what was your name?
My name is Sergeant Crosley.
Sergeant what?
Crossley.
Crossley?
Yes, sir.
Barry Wingfield.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. I appreciate your time. I'll let you get back to work.
You have a good day.
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah.